Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. I'm Fanula. I live, work and garden in beautiful Zone 9B, a little bit outside of Petaluma in the countryside. And today it is almost the second week of May. It is an absolutely gorgeous day. And I have a list of things that you need to do in your garden to make sure your garden stays healthy, strong, to troubleshoot any pests that might be popping up, to harvest what you might be able to harvest. And I'm going to share what I'm doing in my own garden. And today I just spotted this pest, so that's exactly where we're going to start, with pests. So, as you know, I've got over 90 roses, and I've been staying on top of it and really checking out obsessively for rose slug. Rose slug is a pain in the neck. It doesn't actually kill your roses, but it stresses them out a lot by eating away the top layer of the foliage. So your leaves on your roses look skeletonized if the infestation gets out of hand. And I really was staying on top of it. I sprayed my roses with Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew at the very first site, and it really looked like I was on top of it. Totally handled it. But there was one rose back here, my wonderful Colette, that obviously missed the spraying. And just now, I've spotted rose slug on it, which absolutely drives me crazy. I mean, you almost need to put your glasses on to see them, but look. They take on the green color of the rose and they skeletonize them. Like I said, it doesn't actually kill them, but they look unsightly. Yeah, this poor Colette rose. I'm going to squish them. I'm not even going to go back down to get the spray right now. I'm just going to squish every single thing I see. Like that little bugger. So if you find rose slug in your garden, go get Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew. And I've said it before, I'm not affiliated in any way, but I know that stuff works. Or any other kind of a spray that is approved for organic gardening and has spinosad in it. Because how it works, the little rose slug, which is the larva of a sawfly, once it nibbles some of that Captain Jack's, it perishes very quickly. And you can see how this rose got forgotten about. It's over here, kind of hidden away. And that's what happened. Not forgotten anymore though. I'm going to stay on top of it. Other pests that you need to watch out for right around now, slugs and snails, they continue to be a problem, aren't they always? We had rain last week too, which kind of encouraged them quite a bit. And watch out for them. There are so many slug and snail hidey holes around here that you don't want to have to go search every single one of them, but watch for the snail trails, watch for the slug trails, and then start hunting. I've done a video before about how to make a natural remedy for slugs and snails, but there's also Sluggo, there's Sluggo Plus, there's hand picking, and if you've got chickens, those chickens love those slugs and snails. The other pest that is just beginning to emerge again now that the weather's warming up a little bit are earwigs. Another major pain. And quite often when you're looking at some damage on a plant, it's kind of hard to tell if it's a slug, a snail, or an earwig. Earwigs don't leave behind a trail, so that gives you a hint. They only come out at night, so you're not going to see an earwig sitting around on top of your leaf. They come out at night, and they hide even better than a slug or a snail. So there are definitely some tricks to deal with earwigs. My favorite is this remedy. Remedy, do you call it a remedy? I don't even know. You get yourself one of those small yogurt tubs that has a lid on it, clean it out really well, fill it halfway up with a 50-50 mix of oil and soy sauce. You poke holes in the sides of those yogurt containers big enough for the earwigs to get in. And they are drawn to that mix like you would not believe. They fall on in there and they die happily in a mix that they love the taste of. So there you go. That really, really helps. So first look for the damage. I am pretty sure this hop leaf has been nibbled on by an earwig. So I know there's earwigs nearby, and I'll start putting out my earwig traps later on today. Now, to call a bird a pest is just wrong, really. But when you're growing blueberries and you want to have the blueberries yourself, a bird can be a pest. Blue jays love them. I've got stellar jays and blue jays around here, the scrub jays. They love blueberries. And I do have one trick in that I plant blue flowers close by wherever I can. And I believe that the blue jays see the blue flowers and fly over the blueberries. Well, it's not always the case, as I've discovered with this beautiful little blueberry plant. The birds have been finding it. So, again, birds aren't really a pest, but if you want to deter them from eating your blueberries, right now is a really good time to get out there and get some bird netting. The soft one is good, or you can put chicken wire around it. And just put the netting on your plant at the time where the blueberries are just getting ripe. You don't want to risk trapping a blue jay or any kind of bird in there so that it actually dies or anything. You just want to be able to harvest those blueberries yourself. I've got a cherry tree over that way that's about to begin to turn red. So I'll be putting some netting over that, at least over the clusters of fruit, so that I get some cherries this year. Because those blue jays, those crows, they get in there exactly the day that the cherry is about to taste amazingly good. So, technically not a pest, but if you're trying to eat the fruit in your garden, we could consider a bird a pest, so do watch out for them. So, further troubleshooting in your garden means you're going to be looking for disease, not just insects, not just birds, not just animals. Mice and rats are also a pest once your fruit starts ripening up. So, but I'm moving away from them and onto diseases. Now, we did have a kind of a wet spring so far with even enough rain, and then there was sun. And when that happens, when you get weather patterns like that, fungus can be an issue. And something I spotted earlier today on one of my pear trees is fire blight, which is a fungus that makes your pear tree look like somebody took a blowtorch to it. Now, it's really early stages, and it's just kind of the extremities, the very small little branches. And what you want to do, you need to cut every single one of those branches off. This looks like it's been fried with a blowtorch. That's a fungal problem. And because it's a pear, obviously an edible, I don't ever want to use a systemic fungicide on it. So I really use mechanical methods. I have an Asian pear over there that would get it occasionally, and it's pruned in such a strange way at this point, but it beat the whole fire blight thing and gives me great Asian pears. So this year, this Comi's pear looks like it might be struggling a little bit. So I'm going to cut off every single one of those branches that is showing evidence of fire blight. And when you cut off those branches, you need to get rid of any of the cut away pieces. Ideally, you're going to cut each branch that shows evidence of fire blight. You're going to cut it back 8 inches from the problem. And then you are going to get rid of the branch that has the fire blight on it. Preferably, you're going to put that in your trash or something like that. You don't want to compost it because those little spores, they're kind of hard to kill. So I am going to take care of this tree by cutting back 8 inches back from any evidence. The tree may end up looking really weird, but I don't care. I'm going to save this tree and stop the problem from spreading. As well as rose slugs and insects, you're also going to want to look for fungal problems on your roses. Just be beady-eyed about it. Nip the problem in the bud. Don't let stuff get out of hand. Good weather's right around the corner. We've got a nice little windy day today, great air circulation. And I'm actually not seeing any problems whatsoever on my beautiful Dortmund, which makes me really, really happy. But it's a great time in May to go out there and really look at everything. Apart from anything else, you're going to be picking roses, so you can look at every single one of your rose bushes really carefully for any problems, because you don't want problems to develop. You want more and more beautiful roses. Let's jump over into harvesting for a second, because my loquat is giving me lots and lots of fruit. And there's other great fruits and vegetables that you could be harvesting in May. All your winter veggies, all your winter greens, everything like that, you can definitely be harvesting them. But there's something about picking fruit already this early in May that is so satisfying. And I love loquats. They are just so indescribable. I mean, they kind of taste like an apricot, but maybe because they look like an apricot, they kind of have a citrusy flavor to them, kind of melony. Anyway, really delicious. And you can harvest loquats right now, middle of May. You know what else is time to harvest right now? Meyer lemons. My Meyer lemon is absolutely overflowing with lemons right this minute. And believe it or not, I pick about 5 to 6 every single day, and I juice them and I have them in just in plain hot water. And I've been doing that for about 2 weeks at this point. It's still laden with at least 100 lemons. Of course, blueberries. I forgot to mention this particular blueberry. It's been producing fruit, maybe a week or so. I come out and nibble on it. It's just so delicious. This is the Biloxi variety. It's a southern high bush. Takes more sun than some of the northern varieties. It's just great. And growing blueberries is really pretty easy if you just follow the instructions without having very acidic soil and staying on top of fertilizing them with acid fertilizer. I do believe I have a blueberry video out there somewhere that you can watch. You can find it up here. But yeah, right now you can be harvesting blueberries. Another berry you can harvest right now is loganberries. A loganberry is an incredibly vigorous hybrid between a raspberry and a blackberry, and they're just at the beginning of production. They're so delicious and they're so easy to grow. I mean, they grow like a blackberry. They're really, really tasty, a little bit tart. They don't have the sweetness that a blackberry does. Well, my goodness, so easy to grow. And they take off and they wander, and I let them. They don't get to go where they don't in my courtyards or anything. But you can't get enough of a good berry, honest to God. Let me show you this other berry I am thrilled to be harvesting in May. Come with me. My favorite berry of all to harvest right now is the Pakistan mulberry. It is May, and there are so many berries on this incredible tree. And this has only been in 2 years. So in May, you harvest your Pakistan mulberries. If you do not have a Pakistan mulberry yet, you need to go plant one. They are incredible. Look at the berries. And this tree is full of them, absolutely full of berries. And they taste great right from this, what color is this even? Right from this color all the way to when they're really black. And this is early and so, so good. I have to plant it here in my chicken area with the hopes that if any of the fruit drop, the chickens get to have them. Honest to God, I don't let them drop. I'm up here harvesting every morning, every dinner time too. So, so good. And now it's about time to talk about a couple of different chores you do need to do right now. If you've got a camellia, right now it's time to prune them if they need it, because the blooms are done, and right after blooming is time to do the pruning. I'm just gonna nip this one a little teeny bit right there. I already did make a little bit of a head start, so there wasn't too much left to prune. But for you camellias, it's also time to feed them. Camellias are acid lovers, so you do want to go out and find yourself some good acid fertilizer, specifically for camellias, azaleas, rhododendrons, blueberries. Anything that likes acid soil does want a fertilizer that has heavy on acid, and camellias are one of them. And your camellia will be so thrilled to bits. So what else are you going to feed right now? Your azaleas, your rhodies, if they're done blooming. Good time to prune them too. Roses. Right now, you're going to be deadheading your roses. If you're anywhere here in Northern California, we had an early spring. We had blasted heat in March, brought the roses on real early. So right now, second week of May, you're going to be deadheading quite a bit and feeding your roses too. Let me go find a rose that I know needs some deadheading. Deadheading roses. If you need a little reminder about how to deadhead roses, I have chosen my Coco Loco because it definitely needs some deadheading. And when you deadhead, you're doing it a couple of different ways. You are shaping it for the next flush of blooms. So you want to make sure that you deadhead to an outward facing leaflet so that the next bit of growth comes out rather than going into the center of the rose bush. You're just like always thinking of the health of your rose bush, and every time you cut it, you cut with that in mind. Open circulation, air circulation, and a good healthy rose. So this is Coco Loco. I did let it get a little bit big this year because I really wanted a ton of blooms. I got a ton of blooms. And now that first flush is over and done with, and I'm going to deadhead. Quite often they say take it back to the first leaflet that has 5 leaves on it, which is right here. It's still really high up. So I'm going to actually take it down a little bit further, which is totally allowed because I want to bring this rose bush down a little bit. So I'm going to bring it down to right around here. You cut at an angle just in case it pours rain. It really does kind of help to prevent rot. I don't think it's going to pour rain anymore this time of year, but who knows? We got rain last week. But yeah, Coco Loco is going to get brought down a teeny little bit. Outward facing buds. And right after you do your deadheading, it's a really great time to feed your roses. I'm shaping the rose bush, bringing her down a teeny bit, and then I'm going to go grab some food. Now this time of year, it's given a flush of blooms. I want more blooms, so I will feed her some fertilizer that is a little bit lower on the nitrogen and higher on the potassium and phosphorus. I wouldn't go all the way to a 0-10-10, but maybe a 5-10-10, something like that. Coming into a bouquet. I'm going to save these buds for a bouquet that I'm going to make in a little while. Kind of did some individual deadheading, but I have some really pretty buds that's going to come indoors with me. What else do you want to deadhead right now? Your peonies. So to deadhead a peony, what you want to do is just deadhead back to the first leaf. The reason you want to deadhead is that you don't want it to go to seed because all the energy of the whole plant is going to go into producing seeds. Now, unless you're a peony breeder or something like that, obviously, or wanting to do an experiment and actually harvest the seed from your favorite peony, but they do take a really, really long time to go from seed to amazing blooms in your garden, that it's better just to do the deadheading. So, like I said, you deadhead before too much energy gets put into those blooms, and you really only cut back to the first leaf because every one of those leaves is photosynthesizing and producing food that will go back into the roots of your peony and guarantee amazing blooms next year. So here's a really cool one. There's a bloom that is spent, and it's right there among a whole bunch of other buds that are about to pop. So you want to be really careful that you don't accidentally cut off a bud that's still going to give you some blooms. A little tiny bud right there, and that is going to turn into a big bloom in about 3 to 4 weeks. So you want to be super careful to take off the spent bud, spent bloom, while still leaving the little buds to mature. What else are you going to be deadheading in May? Anything that is finished blooming and has more spent flower heads on it than fresh ones. This is a really pretty salvia that's been blooming for quite some time. So I'm taking off the old spent flower heads, but while being really careful about leaving anybody who's still blooming or the little buds. When you're deadheading, pay attention to the whole plant. Just make sure there's no bugs in there, no snails hiding beneath the foliage, and that your plant is healthy, that the foliage looks good and rich and green, and that everything's looking really good. So when you've done your deadheading, it is a great time to feed, not just your roses, but any of your perennials that have finished their blooming, any perennials that look like they're going to bloom in the next month or so also. It's a great time to feed them, water that fertilizer in, and really get them that nutrient boost that they need so that they're going to burst into bloom for you. I've got a lot of different things blooming. The one final thing I want to show you today that you can do in May, make yourself a bouquet. There's so many gorgeous blooms in your garden right now. I just double dare you. Walk outside in your garden. You're going to find ingredients for at least 3 bouquets. So right now I'm just going to make a quick one because that is, let's not call it a chore exactly, but that is one of the joys of May, making a beautiful bouquet to bring indoors or to gift. It's Mother's Day real soon. What better thing to do than to give your mom a bouquet made fresh from your own garden? The first flowers I picked, they're a really pretty dianthus that I love with lovely long stalks. It's either Bath's Pink or, I can't remember the other name, but it's lovely long stalks. And it's really a filler flower rather than the focal point, but it makes a great filler flower. Then I have one blue cornflower that was over there, and this is a great filler also. This is Scabiosa or pincushion flower, vivid violet. Goes into a lot of my bouquets. Blooms for months, easy to grow. Makes a lot of flowers, you don't miss a few for a bouquet. That's a Wild Eve, another David Austin rose. A little bit overwhelming, but you know, absolutely amazing. Plus, she's kind of a floppy rose, so I think bringing her indoors in a bouquet is absolutely the best thing to do for this particular rose. Okay, now all I need is some foliage, and I got myself a really pretty posy. That could be the foliage. I just don't really want to take it off this gorgeous tree. This is a taxus, and the new growth on this one is just obviously very bright and cheerful and gorgeous. I just might sacrifice one little bit for it because it's so pretty. I just got to do it. I'm going to pick it from some part that I don't see so much though. There you go, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's list of things to do in the merry month of May here in Northern California. There's probably more in your own garden that you're going to see, so let me know, drop me a comment. What's the first chore that you spotted when you went outside today that you know you got to get going on? I didn't even touch on the beautiful things you should be planting in May. That's for a whole other video. So make sure you stay tuned, keep watching. And by the way, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for visiting. I had some wonderful visitors this week that just made my heart so happy. And I love it. I absolutely love hearing your gardening stories and everything. It's just so great. But if you can't make it into Cottage, you can always find me on Facebook or Instagram. Drop me a comment. And main thing is get outside and garden. Get outside and enjoy yourself. Your garden is amazing. The flowers, the month of May, it could not be prettier. Honest to goodness, you need to be outside in it. All right, everybody, till next time, take care of yourself. Happy gardening.